Y'all asked for a Cleric Subclass that was also a Gish, and it's Gen Brewery. I got an idea. Let's go.
So I put out a video a little while ago asking for you guys to send me any of the homebrew ideas that you had wanted to see made manifest, and this one was a good one from Elfrinen. I think that's how it's pronounced. Regardless, you can see the comment on screen. They want a Cleric subclass that competes with the Blade Singer as far as a full caster plus cantrip and extra attack, and has features that make it feel like a proper Gish, but with its own twist. I love this idea.
If you want to go after him, just try it! I'll give you fair warning, though. In order to do that, you gotta go through me!
So, coincidentally, it is Gen Brewery, as put out by Akader. Link to his overall Akader. I'm not sure. I'm terrible at pronouncing everybody's name, so apologies in advance, but that's besides the point. Anyway, the list of different Gen Brewery things that he put out is going to be on screen now. I'm going to try and do all 31. They'll probably end up mostly as shorts, but this one felt perfect for day number 1, which is Burn It Down and From the Ashes Birth Anew. It was a fire and healing based subclass, to which I said, this is perfect. Let's make the Everflame domain for clerics. All clerics get an expanded spell list as part of their subclass identity. I went with, well, what you see on screen. Level 1, Absorb Elements and Searing Smite. Level 2, Dragon's Breath and Shadow Blade. This way you kind of get the fire from the Dragon's Breath, the gishiness if you don't have a good magic weapon. Lot of concentration competition here, but, you know, whatever. Also threw a bunch of smites on here, so you got Blinding Smite, Staggering Smite, Banishing Smite. And then I converted Cone of Cold to be fire damage because, well, let's go with the theme. It's a great opportunity to pick up Elemental Adept for fire as part of your build. Clerics tend to live mainly in the Wisdom and Constitution options, but you can go Dex here, Medium Armor. Anyway, level 1. You gain proficiency with martial weapons. This opens up every weapon that you want to use as a cleric. I really like longsword, battle axe, hammer, something like that, that 1d8, 1d10 versatile option, because you're going to want to be up in the business and using your green flame blade cantrip as much as possible. I made it into a cleric cantrip for you. This way you can easily use it in melee and as part of the requested 6th level feature. But before that, we have to address Blade Song, which is a very, very strong ability that the Blade Singer wizard gets. I figured, let's take it, let's put on the Everflame mantle, and let's adjust it a little bit. So it's going to kind of work in the same way. It is a bonus action to don it. It lasts for 1 minute, and it ends early if you are incapacitated, if you put on heavy armor or don a shield, or if you use a two-handed weapon to make an attack. This means that you're going to be rocking medium armor. 2-weapon fighting is definitely going to be on the table, maybe a feat to pick that up, or a fighter dip, or something like that. All good options there. But while you have this mantle active, your walking speed increases by 10 feet. This is very similar to the Blade Singer. You can add your proficiency modifier as fire damage to any of your cleric spells that deal damage, or you can add your proficiency mod to any of the spells that heal. This means that your healing word is going to be more valuable over time as your proficiency goes from 2 up to 6 as you progress through the tiers. Here's the kicker, right? Because as a Blade Singer, you're going to be, 1, increasing your AC so that it's hard to hit you, and you're going to be increasing your Constitution saves to maintain concentration on spells. I didn't want to steal that gimmick directly, so I said, what if we make this more of a tank? This is what clerics do. They get up in the business and they're very around things. They're getting hit. They're the target of things because hit the healer first. Well, you're going to be healing yourself. At the start of all of your turns, any damage you have received since the end of your last turn, add that value up, cut it in half, gain that many temporary hit points. This is going to be a way to kind of keep you relevant in the middle of the fight, make people want to hit you because you're going to be dealing a lot of damage and healing a lot of people and just outputting a lot of things, but that comes at the risk of hurting yourself. Realistically, that's what happens when you're up in the business. It also means that you don't really have to pay as much attention to your Constitution score from an HP point of view. It'll still be good later. Maybe pick up tough. It'll be good for Constitution saves. So it's not like a throwaway stat, but it does kind of help you alleviate the multiple attribute dependency, giving you an opportunity to go into dexterity before you work on maxing your constitution. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all of your uses when you finish a long rest. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to make this a channel divinity or not, but then I had a really interesting idea for how to use your channel divinity, and it kind of comes as a 1-2 punch. So your channel divinity starting at level 2, basically you get blasted, and everything within a 30-foot radius of you has to make a constitution save. Now, this can be a relatively strong save for a lot of enemies, especially the bigger ones, so that's why I kind of felt safe giving it as a constitution save. But basically you're going to get hit with holy fire, so everything is going to take a number of d10s equal to your proficiency modifier, which means that your channel divinity is relevant from the second you get it all the way to the end of your adventuring career. It means you're going to be dealing 6d10 fire damage as an action. That's better than an upcasted fireball. It's a really good use. And any allies or creatures that you deem as allies receive a number of d4s equal to your proficiency modifier as temporary hit points. So you're kind of doing a 1-2 punch with your channel divinity. You're doing a bunch of damage to enemies within your 30-foot radius, and all of your allies that are close are getting a bunch of temporary hit points. I thought this was a really cool option here. But it's an action, putting on the Everflame Mantle, which means at turn 1 you are relevant as a Gish. You're buffing your team, you're putting out some AoE damage, you're buffing yourself, you're in a really good spot, and you're starting off your Everflame Mantle temporary hit points by giving yourself a bunch of them through your channel divinity. Level 6 is the requested extra attack. Replace one of them with a cantrip. Realistically, you're going to be doing your attack action and then using one of those to cast your green flame blade. Some of the other cleric options are, I guess, useful, but I think this is going to be a much more useful option overall. This means that you're probably going to have either Shadow Blade up, or Spirit Guardians, or I don't remember if Spirit Shroud is on the cleric spell list, but it should be. Or you're going to have any of your other concentration spells up. And remember that all of the smite spells are concentration while you have them active. So you're going to be doing a lot of things up in combat while you have this attack and cantrip option going on. And then it just kind of gets a little bit better from there. 8th level kind of gets the standard potent spell casting, so you can add your wisdom modifier to damage on your cleric cantrips. This includes your green flame blade because it is a cleric cantrip for you. It is very difficult to say cleric cantrip multiple times in a row, let me tell you. Anyway, and then the 17th level ability, this is when you're getting 9th level spells anyway. Basically, whenever you cast a spell that targets a single enemy with fire or radiant damage, you kind of get the ice knife effect where you roll to hit on them and then it does a small AoE around them. This is going to go to, your guiding bolts or fire bolt if you somehow pick that up from your lineage, or you name it. There's a lot of cleric spells that do radiant or fire damage. There's not that many that are single target. This is going to be mostly making your guiding bolt better. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are going to check out all of the Gen breweries. I'm going to be probably posting them as shorts, like I said, but there's some cool options that I've already come up with and a couple of really cool prompts. And if you have any prompts that you want to see made into a homebrew, let me know. I'm happy to take on the challenge and create something for you. A link to this document will be down in the description if you want to copy and paste it and show it to your DM, or if you are a DM and want to offer it to your players. Other than that, thank you for watching and keep rolling those dice.